into traditional purchasing contracts that don't work in complex strategic relationships. Conventional contracts undermine partnerships that are needed to cope with uncertainties. Companies have traditionally used contracts as a protection against the possibility that one party will abuse its power. This hostile mindset creates a downward spiral of negative tit-for-tat behaviors. Companies understand the importance of suppliers in lowering costs and increasing quality. But when contract negotiations begin, they default to a traditional mindset and a transactional contracting approach. These tactics not only create a false sense of security, but also foster negative behaviors that undermine the relationship and the contract itself.
Are you talking about contracts?
Yes, I am talking about contracts, Alex.
Have you heard about the new approach to contracting? The new approach is a formal relational contract. It specifies mutual goals and establishes governance to keep parties' expectations and interests aligned for the long term. It works because it's designed from the outset to foster trust and collaboration. Additionally, it's a legally enforceable contract. It is especially useful for highly complex relationships. This includes relationships that have complicated outsourcing and purchasing arrangements, strategic alliances, joint ventures, franchises, and collective bargaining arrangements. This vested methodology creates a what's in it for we mentality and steers us away from holdups, incomplete contracts, and shading.
Wait, what's the holdup problem?
The holdup problem is the fear that one party will be held up by the other. The fact that virtually all contracts contain gaps, omissions, and ambiguities only make the holdup problem behaviors worse.
Wait, but I'm confused. What's shading then?
I'm glad you asked. Shading is a retaliatory behavior in which one party stops cooperating, ceases to be proactive, or makes countermoves. This happens when a party isn't getting the outcomes it expected and feels the other party has not acted reasonably to mitigate the losses. The aggrieved party often cuts back on performance in subtle ways, sometimes even unconsciously, to compensate.
But does this mean that we'll never need traditional transactional contracts ever again?
Formal relational contracts will never completely replace traditional transactional contracts, nor should they, but the process outlined should be part of contracting toolkit to govern highly complex relationships.
Formal relational contracts make so much sense now. Thanks, Alex.
Now we're going to talk about the 5-step process. Does anyone want to guess what the first step is?
Is it lay the foundation?
Yeah, in this step, the primary goal is to establish a partnership mentality. Both parties make a conscious effort to create an environment of trust in which they are transparent about their high-level aspirations and their specific goals and concerns. Elena, why don't you come up here and tell the class a little bit more about step number 2?
Yeah, step number 2 is to co-create a shared vision and objectives. To keep expectations aligned in a complex and changing environment, both parties need to explain their vision and goals for the relationship.
Wow, Elena, you're so smart. Step number 3 is adopt guiding principles, in which parties commit to 6 guiding principles that contractually prohibit tit-for-tat moves. Elena, do you know what the 6 principles are?
Is it reciprocity, autonomy, honesty, loyalty, equity, and integrity?
Perfect. Now in step 4, we align expectations and interests. Having set the foundation for the relationship in the first 3 steps, parties hammer out the terms of the deal. It is crucial that all terms and conditions of the formal relational contract are aligned with the guiding principles. With the right mindset, the development of the contract becomes a joint problem-solving exercise rather than an adversarial contest. Step 5 is to stay aligned. Contracting parties go beyond crafting the terms of the agreement and establish governance mechanisms that formally embed in the contract.
Wow, I feel really prepared to make my own formal relational contract.